Resurgence is back amongst dozens of massive updates in Warzone 2, and in this video I'm going to be covering everything that changed from Season 1 to Season 2. Of course, with Season 2 comes the brand new Resurgence map, Ashika Island, and unlike Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, this island comes with a lot of unique property. Not only is it 20% larger than Fortune's Keep, but it also holds around 50 players depending on the game mode you're playing. In Ashika Island, there's going to be 7 main points of interest. We have Oganiku Farms, I totally messed that up, Town Center, Beach Club, Suki Castle, Port Ashika, Residential, and Shipwreck. There's a brand new public event called the Data Heist and a new contract called Search and Seizure that will ask you to eliminate a squad of AI, which could include the new Rusher AI, good lord, steal one of their vehicles and deliver it to a specific location where you'll be rewarded with loot and a few more bots to fight. Data Heist is a public event where laptops with enemy intelligence are spawned around the map, giving players the opportunity to steal the data for intel-themed rewards like UAV and advanced UAV. Downloading the data, however, takes time, and players will need to defend their download against AI defenders and other players, which is basically like an intel. Redeploy balloons have officially made their return to the island. However, with the new branding of Modern Warfare 2, they're now back in the shape of 4 drones that will move around the map as the gas closes in. These drones can be destroyed and have a 60-second respawn time. However, after the 4th circle, they vanish from the map, and sadly, we won't be seeing these drones until about the 4th week of Season 2. Beyond that, we're expected to find new Easter eggs on the island, so keep an eye out for anything fishy. And it's best to note, when strolling through the island, you may notice it's hard to see. This is due to the fog found in the residential areas of the map. As mentioned earlier, there will be AI on the map. However, the game mode you choose will dictate the number of AI that spawn. If you're a solos player, there's going to be the smallest number of AI available. For any hardcore Resurgence players, they've added a UAV ping and loot ping for the defending team if they pick up a set of dog tags off their teammate's body. Every player in Resurgence will drop a dog tag upon death once per match, which can either be picked up by a squad member or themselves after redeploying. Doing so grants a small cash reward as well as a single UAV ping that marks both enemy threats and nearby supply boxes. If a player recovers their own fallen soldier tag or one belonging to a teammate, they get a 50-meter loot ping and a normal 300-meter UAV ping and $1,000. The money reward will only be awarded once, but the pings will be given each time honor is restored thereafter. This is known as restoring honor. Specific to solos, eliminating an enemy player will display their location upon redeployment for 10 seconds. 10 seconds! Holy moly! And finally, don't worry, loadouts still drop in on the island, and the timing of the drop is at the 1st circle, which from what I hear is also the timing for an Easter egg, that is, if you're hunting. Loadout drop markers are also available for purchase via buy stations using the same price scaling as standard Battle Royale. Beyond Ashika Island, there's still plenty more changes to be discussed. As for the quality of life updates for Warzone overall, they've improved plating movement, updated ping visibility, making the ping colors match player colors, updated the buy station's interaction angles, which will help you buy your teammate back without having to stand directly in front of the buy station. They brought up the minimum cash drop from 100 to 500 in cash registers and 800 on ground loot, adjusted shelf looting angles, added pre-match player loadout selection and editing, and cleaned up the AI at black sites just a little bit. As for the gameplay portion of the updates, a lot has actually changed. They've removed 3 plate armor vests, spawning everyone with 2 plates on their body with the chance to simply put in another plate, filling to a 3rd. As a note on this, you'll respawn from the Gulag with all 3 plates already filled. Players actually now have the ability to sprint while plating. Loadouts now come twice throughout the match, those times being during the 2nd and 5th circles. Within those loadouts, you now have the ability to use custom perk packages, with certain perks being exempt from the choosing. Loadout icons no longer disappear throughout the map as well, which is very much so appreciated. Looting has also had a complete overhaul. While backpacks are still the basis for our inventory, medium and large backpacks can no longer be picked up or even found throughout the map, which also removed the 3rd gun slot. When players use an item in their active loadout, stored items in the backpack will no longer fill that slot. The only 2 items that will automatically repopulate the loadout from the backpack are armor plates and ammunition. So basically what this means is you can't be tossing grenades over and over and over. Completely gets rid of that mechanic, so you'll have to actively do it yourself and replenish it from your backpack. Upon death, enemies will now drop all their loot onto the ground, making it easier to find whatever you're looking for. They've added the new redeploy pack equipment to Al-Mazrah. This is a new tactical equipment that will give players another shot at victory. They can be found in ground loot on some buy stations and guaranteed from completing the Stronghold and Black Sites mission. There's now going to be more buy stations across the map, and they're completely stationary, meaning between games you don't have to worry about them changing. Speaking of buy stations, they're going to have less self-revives in them as well, making it much more difficult to spam selfies. Loadout drop markers now have unlimited stock at buy stations, and prices have been reduced. Prices will scale to squad sizes. Counter UAVs may now be purchasable from certain buy stations, which I'm sure isn't going to be annoying at all. And finally, and I mean that, finally, a play again and play again with squad option have now appeared at the end of matches. Moving into the Gulag, it's been given a complete rework. Upon death, you'll be thrown into a 1 versus 1 scenario rather than being left to fight in a 2 versus 1 because your teammate was somehow a literal baby. Instead of being met with a jailer during overtime, you'll now be expected to capture a flag similar to Warzone 1. And when you spawn in the Gulag, the loadouts now include SMGs, ARs, and LMGs. And it's overall a much smaller area that you now have to fight in because it's a 1 versus 1. If you're lucky or skillful enough to win your Gulag, buy stations and strongholds both come back after you return. And the last thing to mention for Warzone 2 is that combat records should be arriving within this season for Warzone. Moving into multiplayer, there's some changes, but just not a ton, sadly. There's 4, quote, new maps, 2 of them being battle maps and 2 of them being core maps. The battle maps include Zaya Observatory and Malik International, both of those coming from the Battle Royale map, for the core maps, Valderas Museum and Dome. Dome being a remaster from Modern Warfare 3, and Valderas Museum coming from the beta, which means it should have come out with the game already, but they're somehow passing it along as a new map. Not sure how they screwed us on that one. Multiplayer is seeing some larger changes along with some smaller changes, which include the following. They're adjusting audio. The Ghost perk is getting adjustments. There's now going to be 10 prestiges, and you'll be able to max out at level 500. There's going to be a few new weapons, including a crossbow, which is insane, which are expected to be equal to or better than the current meta. Weapon balancing for the current meta is absolutely going to be happening, which is definitely needed. And then throughout the season, we'll be seeing new game modes, including Infected, Gun Game, Grind, and One in the Chamber. Lastly, ranked play has finally made its way into Modern Warfare 2, and here's what we know. It will have rank and skill divisions, game modes being Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, and Control, and will have a CDL map pool of 4v4s. There's 8 divisions with 3 tiers in each division. Ranked leaderboards where you're compared to the pros, and every 5 ranks, you'll unlock blueprints, skins, and more. On top of that, there's exclusive skins for the best 250 players in the world, and an overall #1 ranked skin exclusive to them. And with all that for multiplayer, it makes you wonder, when are we gonna get Warzone 2 ranked? Either way, if you've enjoyed, make sure you subscribe for more informative videos, as well as check out my second channel, Expel Uncut, for raw, unedited Warzone gameplays.